Green as fire shining bright, from the streets to satellite. Culture deep, future bright, rise together, reach new heights. From the Indus Valley to the modern day plan, we stand united, an incredible land. It all started with our nation's light, and now we march forward into the light.
Hello everyone, welcome to a new episode of Staying Indian. Now in this episode, we'll learn about why is it important to have a success coach, why personal branding is important, and especially when you're outside, when you're starting a new career in a new country, I think these two factors play an important role. To do that with me, I have a well-accomplished success coach Nilesh. Welcome, Nilesh.
Hello, hi, Gaurav. Thanks for having me on the show.
So, Nilesh, you have a privilege of guiding companies, guiding individuals from Harvard, from IIM, from IITs to have their own personal branding, right? To have their own elevated pitch.
He's such a great coach, but he's kind, compassionate, and an amazing human being.
He's amazing and we've learned so much from him.
So how did you start with this?
Okay, good question, Gaurav. I'll come to the journey how I started. But this is a very important reason, why personal branding is important. Somebody is working professional or somebody is a student, somebody looking to start a business. At that time, they need to attract the right sort of opportunities. Maybe a job opportunities, career progression opportunities, business opportunities, new customers. So normal way of people is start chasing them. But what does the brand do is, it will help you attract those opportunities. And that exactly the work I do when I work with these professionals to make, let's say magnet, magnet attracts the things. So that's what our aim is to become that magnet so that we will attract the job opportunities, career progression opportunities or business opportunities. Now, how I got into this? I came to UK roughly 17 years back. I came here as a student. And as a student, I come from middle class family in India. So I had a very focused goal of, get the education and get the job so that I can pay back my education loan. And I was doing that journey. Because I was focused, I got a job as well. I used to work for a company called Jaguar and Land Rover. It's in the middle part of the UK. And as a student, getting a job abroad, it's such a nice thing. And whenever you get a job, as you can imagine, Gaurav, we think we accomplished something in the life. We started to think big and those sort of things. And same happened with me. But I didn't realize when I was going through all these good emotions and, big plans, my life was about to take a U-turn. It was the recession time. And in 2008, 2009, and because I was new to the company laid me off. Now, the natural thing for somebody, like if they lose a job, they generally apply the other jobs. I did the same thing. I applied for other jobs. I couldn't get any other jobs. Nothing emotional, but we all need money to survive. So the other option for me was, if the job was not working, should we start a business? And I had an MBA background, so I thought maybe starting a business would be a good idea. So then I started my business. And then I realized that in the MBA, I learned about Microsoft and Apple and, Starbucks, the big companies, big strategies. But when I do a startup, it doesn't work out. And that's where I started taking the real market challenges. And I realized that, to go ahead in the career or start a business, grow a business, I need to start attracting the right sort of opportunities, right sort of customer, right sort of businesses. And that's where I stumbled upon the branding side. And when I was learning about branding, I realized that the brands are of different types. There are companies which are branded like Apple and Microsoft. There are products which are branded like iPhone and, iPad. There are cities like branded, like Amsterdam, London, Paris, Las Vegas, New York. The cities are branded. Sometimes we eat certain food. That food is branded like Costa Coffee or any of the Starbucks coffee, the flavor brands. Just like that, there's something else called as personal branding. So I mainly work in the personal branding side. Mainly when it's a corporate, it's a personal branding. And when some businesses need my help to grow their business, so I work on the business branding side. So the reason I stumbled upon is through my own personal journey. And the benefit I started realizing that, when you create yourself as a brand, you will start attracting the opportunities. And that attraction actually gives you much more trustworthy, sort of job opportunities or career opportunities or business opportunities. That's where I genuinely recommend everyone who is thinking to go ahead in the career, start a business, grow a business, or, just attract many more nice people in your life as well, start thinking about becoming a brand. It will help you attract the right opportunities.
Amazing, Nilesh. So, you kind of implemented that on yourself. You learned a bit and then you grew that into a business, So that's basically a good startup model, I would say. So Nilesh, tell us, when people should look for personal branding, is it only when they need to find new jobs, or they should do it consistently and build upon
All right. Very good question, Gaurav. Uh, uh, Whether we like it or not, or whether we know it or not, people judge us, right? So you have certain friends, and some of them are good friends, some of them are best friends, some of them are like just the friends. You work in a corporate, there are certain managers, you like them, and certain people you don't like them. So knowingly, unknowingly, we judge the people. And based upon whatever the image we have about those people inside our head, we tend to behave with them like that. So that's why this personal branding thing is helpful with everyone, whether it's a housewife or whether it's somebody, probably not doing a job, or somebody who is a student, somebody in a corporate world, or probably you are looking to, still in between the jobs, looking for new jobs, or starting to, think about your business. You are going to be in an environment where there are going to be people. And whenever there are people, people are going to judge you. And when there are people who are going to judge you, it is your opportunity or your responsibility to show them the right side that you want to show them. That's where the personal branding comes in, to make the right sort of first impression, to tell the audience who you are, to make people understand you much better, so that they will start thinking about working with you, collaborating with you, or probably maybe have a nice talk with you, as simple as that. So in all those scenarios, personal branding helps.
No, it's quite true. Nilesh, you have survived the recession. You have stayed in UK. You are doing personal branding exercise with a lot of people. Can you tell some of the success stories of some people, who are high achievers and whom you have guided on personal branding?
Right. Um, I generally get the clients, let's say from IITs, IIMs, London Business School, Harvard. So this time I'll give the example of a Harvard student. Uh, uh, this profile, these people who, let's say, study in these top universities, they already have a good profile. Now what happens, this particular person has worked at some company, also studied in the Harvard. Unfortunately, when he got a new job, because of, I think, something politics in the organization or some restructuring, he lost his job. Now, in this case, what has happened? This person was now looking for a different job. But suddenly what happened? He himself started thinking that, maybe if he comes across to the market as if somebody who's looking for a job, that will not be looked at nice at him, because somebody with the right sort of profile, that great profile, and if he's struggling to get a job, people will look at him differently, as if there's some issue with that person. So now when I work with them, I first of all, really has to work on his mindset that, whatever you're thinking is probably your side of the story. And when we go in the market, how we present yourself, how can we present you differently? So that's where we pivot to the personal branding. So now there are multiple ways we think about branding. For example, we are thinking about this particular person, Mr. John. Now, Mr. John, if he's looking for next job opportunity, the new employer should perceive Mr. John in a certain way. So this is how we started writing down what the new employer should be perceived as. Maybe a good leader, dynamic leader, somebody who is a problem solver, somebody who can, let's say, handle bigger sort of teams. So now I asked Mr. John to focus. I'm deliberately using a different name just because of the confidentiality thing. So I asked Mr. John to, start showcasing the right sort of skills, so that the new people, the people around them, should see him as a leader, should see him as a problem solver, should see him as a team manager. Couple of ways we can do that. It's called as digital footprint. So when you are meeting the people in the networking event, you are meeting them face to face. So the type of language you use, type of words we use, type of examples you give to them, that will all matter. But nowadays, when most of the things are online, your digital footprint matters, like how you seen on online media. So for example, how you seen on the Facebook or Instagram, or for example, LinkedIn. I mainly focus on LinkedIn because LinkedIn is a much more professional platform where I know this professional hang around. So as simple as that, working on your profile, the tagline of the profile, the background image, these are the basic things. But more on that, the type of content that you share, type of content that you post. Now, when you start posting about leadership, the growth of leadership, how leadership can solve the challenges, how a leader can handle bigger teams, just by writing that sort of content or reposting that sort of content, whoever is going to talk to you, they will, without talking to you, they will know you, what you are about. I always say this thing, Gaurav, your reputation travels ahead of you. So that's what happens. So when somebody is connecting with you on the LinkedIn and they're seeing all your posts, before coming to you, before talking to you, they have a like sort of idea of what they should talk about. That's how you are changing the perception about the person. Now, this particular person, Mr. John, has lost a job, but on his LinkedIn profile, he was come across like somebody who's a great leader, problem solver, can deal with the team. That's how new employers started approaching him, and that's how he got a job. So currently, he works with a telecom company in the UK, British Telecom. 350 million pound project he's currently dealing with, all because he could showcase his right sort of opportunity to these big companies. This is how the personal branding helps.
If someone wants to land a dream job, how personal branding is important to actually land that dream job?
Very simple. Consider any job, but now this time consider job from the employer perspective, not the candidate perspective. When we look at the job from the employer perspective, as an employer, employers are looking for 5 things: skills, qualification, experience, confidence, and attitude. Now, when you start showcasing those sort of things, let's say through your digital media, your digital footprint, LinkedIn, or maybe whenever you're connecting with somebody on the phone or you're speaking with somebody on the recruiters on the phone, you start deliberately demonstrating these 5 things: skills, qualification, experience, confidence, and attitude. This is like, if somebody is looking for something and you're actually giving them what they're looking for. That way, when you're as a candidate, you're looking for a new job. When you start showcasing that, for example, you're looking for, let's say, a senior director role, you start showcasing the skills. You talk about those skills in the examples. You give them the relevant qualification. Let's say you recently graduated from master's or MBA. So when you talk about those sort of qualifications, people know that you are there qualification-wise. Your recent, let's say, recent relevant experience to that particular managing director role. To be honest, not only the big roles, even you're looking for, let's say, IT analyst, data analyst, even for those simpler roles as well, you start talking the language which the employer is willing to hear. I always say this: you tell them what they want to hear. And that way, you're actually trying to make the connection. Then the way you present yourself, your confidence, your attitude, that as a combination of these 5 things will help you create a right image in front of the employer. And that's how you will start. What your brand does is create an identity. And the identity that we want to create is you're different than others. And because you're different than others, you're treated differently. You're treated as a special person. And that's what you want, right? To attract the opportunities in a special way.
Yeah, exactly. And you want to be the one who gets the call from the HR. Obviously, they go through your LinkedIn profile. That is the first impression, and you want to have it correct. So I think that's where you kind of help. And so our channel, Nilesh, is dedicated for Indians who are living abroad or who do want to move abroad, right? So why do you think personal branding is important for Indians who are maybe already living or want to live abroad?
A couple of reasons, actually. So I will break down those reasons for a business reason and a professional reason. On the professional side, you want to attract new jobs. Sometimes you want to get headhunted. Sometimes you want to lead better teams, or sometimes you want your team to listen you more, or sometimes you want probably the better paying jobs, or maybe the jobs that you really love. So in that case, the personal branding will help you. Now, when you're thinking to, let's say, move abroad and those sort of things and attract those opportunities, this is how, for these particular reasons which I just mentioned, the personal branding will help you. On the other side of the business side, when we think about business and business branding, tomorrow you want to start your own business. You want to attract the right sort of customers. You want to do the deals with the right sort of companies. At that time, the impression about you or your company, it matters. So, for example, you also know that because some people like the leader, they end up doing the business with that company. So there is a leader. Behind every successful business, there is a leader. So if you become that leader who is attractive enough to create that impression, people will start working with you, because ultimately we are, anywhere in the world, people have trust issues, and branding actually helps to resolve those trust issues. So whenever people trust each other, then only they do the business with each other. And I think we all have heard this, right? People do the business with people they like. So branding actually helps you, to create that initial impression, create that icebreaker, to create that initial bridge so that you start talking with the other people. And when you speak, if you're genuinely a nice person, people will like you and they will do the business with you. So whether in India or abroad or anywhere.
Amazing. So Nilesh, you have also successfully wrote books on personal branding. Now, to some, personal branding feels like creating goals, creating a list to achieve it. Can you talk about some of the deep transformations that, go beyond just creating goals and lists?
Right. Most of the people think, as you rightly said, Gaurav, people think success coaching is all about, creating the goals and creating the list. But there is something more to that. For example, we all know what is right thing to do for us, for our health. For example, like people know, like eating healthy and, doing the right sort of exercise will, make you the nice, healthy person. But why so many people don't do that? It's not about what they know. It's just they don't know. There are certain reasons holding them back. There might be certain beliefs or certain bad habits or the mindset issues. Or so many times we know what to do, but we don't start. Sometimes we do start what we want to do, but we don't pursue a long line. So these are all the things happens with the people. And another thing, what happens is people nowadays, especially on the social media, people seem like they're consuming a lot of content. So your mind becomes confused. Like, should I choose this or should I choose that? There's so many choices. There's so many, let's say, messages you can get on the social media, Instagram, here. That's like, so your mind becomes confusing. So it's a very important skill for me as a success coach is to work with person and mainly work with person's brain, like how the brain thinks, how that person, perceives certain things. In my case, let's say I was working with there's a lady, actually her husband recommended me to work with me. So she was going through all those sort of issues. Like, she was thinking like, she's not at all able to focus on the one sort of job. And she was working for a company and it was her parents' company and she was working in the software division and she was not at all understanding how things was. Because it's a family business, they wanted her to work in the software business, software sort of field. And when she started working with me, she realized that she neither have a potential or willingness to work in the software field, and inbuilt her intellectual works better in the numbers. So now, because nobody believed in her as a coach, when we see the bright side of you, that is another thing we do in the coaching. We look at your strengths, not your weaknesses. That is the biggest difference, because we all have strengths and weaknesses. Most of the time, people think you work upon your weaknesses so that they will become strong. In my case, I always work on strengths. If your strengths are outshining your weaknesses, you don't have to worry about weaknesses. For example, Sachin Tendulkar, if he's a very good batsman, let him stay as a batsman. Don't teach him about the bowling and fielding and all. Keep, like, whatever is your skill set, you stick to your skill set. Now, this particular lady, when she came to me, she realized that, okay, software is not her thing and she's not enjoying that work. And every time she goes to work, she feels like, she's putting a lot of hours, but not directly the outcome. So that way, people start thinking differently, behaving differently, acting differently. And now, when this particular lady, in this example, when she started approaching with the numbers mindset, she was naturally smarter and good at people, she started doing the deals. Recently, I think last month or 2 months ago, she sent me a message that this was in India, she happened to crack the deal of a bike dealership for the 4 states, which her parents couldn't do. She could do that just because she was good in numbers and negotiation. So that actually helps. This is what we do as a coaching. Help somebody change their perspective, push them beyond their comfort zone. Sometimes, trust them, because, sometimes people don't even trust on themselves. So as a coach, you need to put that trust on them. Okay, don't worry. I am with you. You walk with me until they see the light inside them. Those are the things happens in the success coaching.
Yeah, I think it's true that, sometimes you need a third perspective to get a better understanding of your life and especially when you said, your strengths, so you kind of lose them with time. So someone needs to polish them again. So I read some stats somewhere that, success coaching as an industry is growing really big. So why do you think that is? What are the key driving factors? I also read somewhere that, it's very important after a certain stage to kind of progress in your career or in your profession or in business, you need a success coach.
Right. So, in the old days, we used to do this maze on the paper. So, maybe there is a carrot and there is a rabbit, and we always do this sort of maze, right? And we know that the easiest way to solve that maze is we start from the back, like from the carrot to the rabbit. If you go from rabbit to carrot, it is harder to, find out the route. But when you go from the backward, so that's what success coach does. They will help you figure out what is the goal you're looking for and help you sort of reverse engineer what is the outcome you want. But on top of that, what happens? Now, if it is this simple, why doesn't it work? Why when anybody can just not do that? The issue is the mindset. We are all knowingly and unknowingly programmed to do certain things, behave on certain things, believe on certain things. Knowingly and unknowingly, we have certain fears. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of, let's say, losing someone in a life, fear of maybe missing the money or anything. So we all have fears. And we pick up those fears on the way as we go upon in the career or make a progress in the career. So knowingly, unknowingly, whenever people work with me, let's say it doesn't matter if somebody is like 25 years old or maybe 62-year-old. We all have gone through life experiences, and that life experiences that molds our mind. And knowingly, unknowingly, we all have certain ways of behaving, certain ways of saying certain things. But the issue with the mind, mind doesn't understand the words high, better. So you always have to quantify those things. If you start putting the things in numbers, for example, I want to earn £10,000 a month. So that becomes a very specific number. It becomes a very specific instruction to the brain. But issue with what happens, is you can imagine a jar. Let me pickle jar, for example. The label of the pickle jar is printed outside. If you are inside the jar, you cannot read the label from the outside. So you'll have to go outside or take somebody's help to read out the label. That happens with us as a human being. We need somebody outside us to look at us and tell us maybe do this, don't do that. Imagine you are walking in a maze. If you are already in the maze, it's difficult to find a route. But if somebody else, maybe your friend is watching you from the outside, he can easily tell you like, go on the left, don't go on the right. So this is what the success coach do. It's help you make the right sort of choices. It will tell you the challenges those are going to come in the future. That's how we prepare the people. And that's how actually practically helps people to make the right sort of actions, take the right decisions, act in spite of fear, keep pursuing the things when things are not working, work little more harder, try more times. Those are the things we do.
I think those are really good examples. Life is like a maze and you need external help sometimes to figure it out. Maybe your relatives or your friends will not be that capable because they don't know you as in a success coach might, right? So, kind of combining all those things together. But, you have written a few books on personal branding as well, right? So can you tell us about your books?
Yes. So this is one of the book. My Apple is branded. The idea behind this brand book was coming from my personal journey of not getting the right sort of opportunities and how to start attracting the opportunities. We all chase the opportunities, but I think one fine day I was thinking how much can I chase? Because everybody else is chasing the opportunities. And what happens when there's one opportunity, there are many other people trying to grab the same opportunity. So what is the difference we can make? The difference we can make is you have to come from the other person's perspective. So you can think about, is there any way you can start attracting the opportunities? And that's where I think I came across something called the magnet. So how does a magnet attract, let's say, the metal? Because magnet has some inbuilt qualities that makes magnet to attract the opportunity. That's where it actually flashed me. So instead of me chasing, let me work on myself, figure out something like some sort of skills which will help other people. That way people would deliberately want to come and meet me, talk to me, work on those sort of options. So even nowadays, we don't do heavy promoting. All the people who work with me, they end up passing on my list to others, and that's how we grow our business. So branding actually helps me not only create the right sort of image, not only to me, all my customers as well. They're looking for better people in their life. People are looking for good relationships. They want to attract nice people. People are looking to attract good co-founders with them.
Good point. Can you also share that how people can reach out to you and what does the day 0, day 1, day 30 look like?
Right. People generally reach out to me through reference. Either they connect with me through my websites or LinkedIn. You can always Google my name, Success Coach Nilesh, and you will get all my social media connections. LinkedIn is a nice and professional way to connect. If not LinkedIn, just by Googling my name anywhere in the world, you will be able to connect with me. Now, what happens when people generally connect with me for the first time? Many times we don't open up. We don't tell our issues around apart from our friends and family. But sometimes we don't even share with them. So whenever first time people connect with me, they all have this doubt and fears. So I'm a new person. How can I share those things with me? The first thing first, what happens? I have to create that trustworthy impression, trustworthy relationship with them. So when we build them, I always start my session saying that, everything we discuss is private and confidential. I will never judge you. Doesn't matter. We all go through ups and downs in the life. We all have certain experiences. I will never judge you based upon what you are saying. And the third thing is the more honest you are, the better results we get. And we also joke around saying there are doctors and lawyers that you shouldn't hide anything from. And I am the third person. So that's to create the humor. But what happens, this helps people to understand me and, then they start talking. But when they start talking, they're everywhere. They have thoughts. Okay, Nilesh, I have this idea. I have that idea. This is something happening with me. This is something happened with my spouse, my kids, my job, my office, my boss. And what is happening? I feel like, there is a water tank and there are like multiple taps to that. And you suddenly open multiple taps, you see all the water is flowing down. That's what actually happens in the first session. People will just drain down from all the directions: money, relationships, boss, career, everything that drain down. Ultimately, a human being, knowingly and unknowingly, we are dealing with all those sort of things in the head. You are the same person looking after your family. You're the same person, need to look after the doctors, when the family grows. You're the same person, you need to look after your money as well. You're the same person, look after your health as well, mindset as well. Knowingly and unknowingly, everything is happening here. I mean, until you start speaking to the right people, we're trying to, we share in pieces, like, thoda isse baat karte hain, thoda usse baat karte hain, those sort of things happen. But when you start speaking with me, what happens? People drain out everything. So my job is, I'm very good at it, by the way. When people drain out, I can pinpoint what are they saying and what are they not saying. I can read between the lines. And when I nudge them, when I cross-question them, some people think, I should have think that as it. Why didn't I think it that way? Especially on the money side, when I take their financial sessions, many times people tell me, like, Nilesh, I should have known this 20 years back. So basically, these are the ways people initially open up. I don't treat this as a profession. I do charge money for the professional reasons, but then it all comes from the heart. So maybe that is the reason, maybe that's why I guess I deal with it, because I don't take it as a profession. If I take it as a profession, I would like to, like, time out, 9 to 5 ho jayega, then band karo, weekend mein baat. Maybe for me, it doesn't happen. I work with people because I love it. And it's genuinely positive results I get, because there's so many marriages got saved. People were looking for divorce just because I intervened. They started talking with each other. So many people, they were confused themselves, but now they have a better idea about their life. People were going through depression. They feel confident about themselves. People were looking to switch the jobs. Some people wanted to switch the job and start a business. They could do that. Some people could start their own business on their financial freedom, go ahead in the career. So everything that could happen, because I feel like, as the right sort of coach, I could give them not only the tools, but also work with them, handle them, be partner with them in their journey. And I do that because of my passion, or maybe liking. Maybe that's why it works.
Amazing, Nilesh. I think, you are doing a really good job. And our channel is about sharing such incredible people who are doing great, especially from Indian community across the globe, who are doing really great in terms of their perspective and their fields. And any final thoughts for our audience?
I do always say things like, one of my tagline is be unstoppable. But only when it happens, when you tell the light that, I am bigger than all my challenges. So this is something I always tell my, clients that, that you are the leader of your life and you are bigger than your challenges. Just having that thought helps you think differently about the challenges. And I always say this, like, be unstoppable. So those are my final thoughts.
Be unstoppable. So that's a good thought to leave with. And I learned a lot of new things and a lot of things that can be implemented. I'm surely going to be in touch with you, Nilesh, to grow personally. And let the audience also, share their thoughts and comments if they learned anything and if they want. So thanks a lot, Nilesh. Keep up doing the great job. Jai Hind.
Thank you. Jai Hind, thank you so much.
From the streets to satellite, culture deep, future bright. Rise together, reach new heights.